Good afternoon. My name is Janet McDermott, and I'm here on behalf of my daughter, Shannon. Shannon is truly a child left behind. We live in Marshfield, Massachusetts, where Shannon has attended 12 years of the Marshfield public school system. All her time and effort for 12 years, she was never awarded her high school diploma along with her class in 2006. She was 4 points shy of passing the MCAS, the math MCAS section of the MCAS. She was a good student, attended school, and met all her other graduation requirements, but none of that mattered. All her hard work for 12 years was not taken into consideration, only the 4 points shy of the MCAS. Shannon did everything that was asked of her from the school. She took the test every time it was offered, hoping that she would pass and receive her high school diploma along with her peers. Shannon has learning disabilities. She suffers from epilepsy. This disorder to her brain prevents her from being able to comprehend some of the math material on the test. During her 12 years of school, Shannon put 100% effort into her schoolwork while taking 18 pills a day just to make it through the day and not have seizures in front of her classmates. Life has always been more of a struggle for her. She has always had to endure disappointments throughout her life. For example, not getting invited to sleepovers when she was younger and not being able to get her driver's license at 16 like her peers. But the blow that the Massachusetts Department of Education gave her by far was the most devastating to her well-being and self-esteem, as this has affected the rest of her life. Instead of Shannon's graduation day being a happy celebration like it was for most of her peers, it was heart-wrenching and devastating. Unlike her peers, Shannon walked out of that ceremony with an empty diploma and left wondering why she had even bothered or tried to be a good student. Her graduation day is something that can never be given back to her. There were students who didn't even try as hard or didn't even care as much, but they were granted a diploma because they were fortunate enough to have been blessed with a healthier brain. Shannon had hopes and dreams and wanted to attend a small college in Dover, New Hampshire for photography, but with no diploma, there was no college. Over the past 3 years since she has left school, she has suffered from depression when all her friends went off to fulfill their dreams. Shannon has bounced around and has not been able to find her place. Marshfield was to provide her with educational needs, and their solution was to return her back into the high school and go into a classroom with other students that receive services from the Department of Mental Retardation. Shannon does not qualify this, and it would have been an inappropriate placement. We took our fight to court and spent over $26,000 in legal fees, and the town of Marshfield spent $71,000 of the taxpayers' money out of the school budget to fight us on this. We did not prevail, because the way the law reads currently, the town does not have to provide her with an education to reach her maximum potential. It only has to provide her with an adequate education. This is such an injustice for students like Shannon that fall between the cracks. Shannon has been unable to move forward and become an independent, productive adult. She has had difficulty finding a job because every application asks about her high school diploma. She cannot even get into a trade school. The material on the test that Shannon couldn't comprehend is things that she would never need to know in life. What the future holds for Shannon now is she will end up on public assistance, as she does not have the schooling and the skills that she needs in order to be able to provide for herself. There is something very wrong here for the state of Massachusetts to stand in the way of all of her hopes and dreams.
Thank you. My name is Tom Gillespie, and my family of 4 has lived in Acton for 18 years. Our son TJ was diagnosed at an early age with a language-based learning disability. The way his brain processes information has created a difference between TJ and his peers. This difference has led our family down a very complex and frequently frustrating journey focused on helping TJ to reach his fullest potential. I come before you today to share some of that journey as it relates to the MCAS testing process. The nature of TJ's disability makes it particularly challenging for him to access the abstract and symbol-rich subject of math. With support, he progressed through the more concrete elementary subjects like addition and division. Just as the learning specialists told us, as math grew increasingly more abstract, TJ's progress became increasingly more difficult. He failed the 10th grade MCAS test by 14 points. It wasn't easy, but we got him a series of individualized, intensive academic supports that were highly focused on the state math frameworks. Retest after retest came and went. After biting our nails for many months, waiting for the score of the latest retest, the result was a consistent 218, always 2 points short of that magical passing number. I won't take the time to go into details about the shock and surprise to both our family and our school district when we learned that the plans the SPED team had constructed back in 2007 for a 5th year of high school and a 2010 graduation were suddenly unachievable because there was no grandfathering for the class of 2009 against the 2010 higher score requirements and the new science and technology test. More twists, turns, and effort spent on the process and on the system rather than on what TJ needed to reach his goal of graduating and a post-secondary education leading to a job working with computers. TJ will succeed in spite of the MCAS complexity, surprises, and inflexibility. Our oldest child, who is flourishing as a sophomore at Northeastern, sailed through the MCAS tests and so was able to get the rich and motivating secondary education that brings me confidence in our next generation. But what about TJ? Did he miss out on a lot of that rich and motivating secondary education, an education of the whole child, in order to cram in a few more minutes of what was literally called MCAS prep? I am certain he did. Was his experience a mile wide and an inch deep as this legislation postulates? I am certain it was. If you ask TJ what he thinks about MCAS, he will, as only an adolescent can do, tell you it means my children are stupid. For TJ, the MCAS, and by extension the frameworks behind them, are a giant stick. This legislation proposes making them much more of a carrot, which in TJ's case would be true progress. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Are there any questions by members of the committee? So thank you again.
Thank you.